All right, so after watching that previous video, you should now have an idea of those special formatting tags used with font. So you should know how the bold, strong, italics, and emphasis tags work. Big, small, block quote, underline, and then subscript, superscript, and that teletype, monotype text one. So you should have experimented through that. You should have seen the following take place, and you should now be able to use those within your own web pages. So now we're going to move on and we're going to look at editing our Desert Plants web page document, that one that I made you download from my classroom website. And we're going to actually add some font styling to it. So we go up into Notepad++. I know we have our Plant World website open. We're now going to open up a second one. So you're going to need to go into your H drive if you're not there already, go into your HTML and JavaScript, go into Unit 2, go into your in-class project, and you should at this point at least have desertplants.html and a couple of pictures downloaded. These are all of the files that I have downloaded from my classroom website, and at some point you will download all of them. But to start, you just need to have those couple I've already had you download. So to open up desertplants.html, you just click open, and what's kind of cool about Notepad++ is it allows you to open up multiple web pages just in the various tabs. So here we now see this is the code that's already built in, that I already gave to you. And now what we're going to do is we're actually going to edit this code, add some font stylings, add some images, add some links, things like that. So you should open that file up if you haven't downloaded it already. And what we're going to do is we're going to add in the boldface tags around that botanical name portion. So that actually appears in 4 different places. We're going to start with the agave Americana. So you're going to have to get pretty good at kind of dissecting and reading through this code. There are comments in green where you'll be adding pieces in, but you're going to have to search for some of these to add them into your code. So right before botanical name, which is right here, we're going to add in a bold-faced tag, and then we're going to close that bold-faced tag. So we're adding in that bold-faced font. If I save and run in Chrome, now what I see taking place is I see that the botanical name is now bolded. So what I want you to do is, now that you've bolded this botanical name, I want you to pause the video and I want you to boldface the rest of those botanical names. So do that really quickly. Just throw in those boldface for the botanical names. Make sure that they all are bold. And what you should have when you're ready to go on to the next step is you should have all of your botanical names bolded. So make sure you don't move on until you have them all bold-faced and ready to go. Okay, so I'm assuming if you're continuing on that you have those bold-faced tags in there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add in the emphasis tag. So right after those bold-faced tags, what we're going to do is we're going to add in the emphasis tags next to those botanical name. So here I have the emphasis tag. I'm going to apply this up by the agave. And if I save my file and I run it, what I see now is that after the boldface, that the actual botanical name for the agave Americana is now italicized or placed with emphasis on the text. So what I'd like you to do is very, very quickly, if you need to pause the video, please do so, but add in those emphasis tags around all of the text following the botanical tag. So botanical tag should be in bold, and then what follows should be in emphasis, which makes it appear to be italicized. So if I save and I run my program, you'll see that I have bold, italics, bold, italics, bold, italics, bold, italics, and it just gives it a little bit of a nicer look to it. So what we're going to look at next is we're going to add in some more font color. So we did this previously on the Plant World webpage. We're going to do it again here. Remember, to add in a font color, we need to use that font tag. So we have font color equals, and then I have hashtag 12340 followed by 2 9s. That's my hexadecimal color. And then I'm going to close off that font tag when I want that color styling to end. So now if I save and I run and I look at desert plants at the beginning, I see that it has a nice blue tint to it, and I've added a little more color, a little more flair to my web page. So you should see that color now in there. Now what we're going to do with the last part of this video is we're going to look at images and image alignment, because images are a very big part of websites. They are included, and we want to know how to align them around our text, make them wrap around our text, things like that. So if you haven't done so already, go to my download website and download all of the images for lesson 3. So there's quite a few of them. Make sure you download all of them and then ensure that they're saved in the same folder as both your plant world and your desert plants HTML files. So go to my classroom website, save those, and then continue on with the video. Okay, so now that you have these downloaded, we're going to start adding some images in. And the first thing we're going to do is, for consistency, just like the plant world where we had background equals grayback.jpg, we're going to add that same attribute for the background into our desert plants web page. So here we have grayback.jpg, and remember, we use the background attribute in the body tag to apply this to the entire body of our web page. So now if I save and I run, I can see that I have that same consistent gray background that gives it a nice subtle look to it. So we got that first image added in. Now what we're going to do is, right after this, we're going to add in the following image. So right after that, you can see I'm adding in space right here so I can clearly see where I'm adding it in. You want to add in the image for where it says plant world small. So note that we're taking the source, and you should already have this particular file downloaded. So you should have this exact file, this JPEG file, in the same folder as this HTML document. We're then giving it a width of 800, a height of 29, so we know that it doesn't have a very big height to it. We're giving it a border of 0 so that the border doesn't show. And then we decided to not give it any alternative text if the picture doesn't appear. So now if I save, I run, what you should see is this very small image at the very, very top. That is Plant World Small. That's the image that we added in right before that heading of size 1. So we can now see the difference. We've added in that picture to our web page. So you can see that there. Now, back when we looked at images originally, we talked about quite a few different attributes. So we had the source, the alignment, the alternative text, etc. We had all of these in there, but we didn't really touch on alignment a ton. Now, we did maybe briefly touch on it, but we didn't actually dive in and look at it. So that's what we're going to do next. We're actually going to add in another image, and then we're going to start playing around with the alignment of that image. So you should already have the Agave Americana image in there. So what I'd like you to do is scroll down in your code, and you'll notice that after that Agave Americana, it says insert agave picture here. What I'd like you to do is actually insert this text in. So you have the source, you have the alternative text of agave, you have your width of 212, you have your height of 203, and you should have that image already downloaded in the same file. And if I run, I can see that that image has been added. So in the next video, the extension in part 2 of this one, we're going to look at what happens if we start adding in alignment. What happens if we have alignment to the right, to the left, to the center? What actually takes place? Because right now we can just see everything keeps going in line. Everything has a nice flow to it. But what if we want this image to actually be wrapped around some of the text? So add in that image, make sure that it works, and then you can move on to the next video.